Sunday is the Old Firm, but every Saturday it's the Chris Sutton column. So guess what today is? It is Saturday. It's the Saturday. It's the day before the night of the Old Firm. Are you ready for it? I am Chris Sutton. Can't resist one last dig. But before we dive into his comments, do you not agree that having a column on a Saturday is poor placement in terms of football? Because it's literally, and it's Saturday morning.
I think it should be either like Friday night or Monday morning or something like that.
Yep, I've called it out recently because...
Although if it's Saturday morning, then it's happening. Well, I guess if it's Saturday morning, it's happening before anything relevant goes down.
It is, but it's like by the time Sutton's able to react to it here on the Daily Record, it's like, it's almost yesterday's news. Like Sutton talking next week about last week's Old Firm. I'll be there. But the question is, a lot of people don't really care what he's got to say.
Aye, on Saturday.
Aye, next week. It'll be 6 days after the Old Firm's ended. You want to hear what Sutton's got to say on Monday?
Well, I'm sure we'll hear him from Sky Sports News.
No, we probably will, absolutely.
Sky Sports in general.
For example, Chris Boyd has his column on a Monday. That's just much better.
Oh, no, yeah, Monday. I think Monday's the best time to have it because you can react straight away. I think ideally, if you're Sutton, Boyd, you should be having columns at least twice a week. I think you'd want one on the Friday night and I think you'd want one on the Sunday morning.
Yeah.
I think you'd want to preview the weekend's action and I think you'd want to review the weekend's action. Kind of like us, maybe like to get a preview show out on Friday and then get the review show either out on Sunday night or Monday morning. But here, no one's here to listen to what we've got to say. Well, they are, but I mean, right now it's all about what Chris Sutton's got to say in his little column. Let's hear one last final dig I'm sure he's got for Rangers. Let's hear it.
Absolutely, but again, Friday, Monday makes more sense due to midweek games, Europe, Cups. It means you can talk about it twice. But anyway, let's see what Chris Sutton's got to say. The pressure is on in Glasgow. It's majorly on Rangers at Celtic Park on Sunday as Philip Clement attempts to finally win an Old Firm game. But it's also on Rodgers and Celtic to deliver in the Champions League. It's been a hectic week with the last days of the transfer window and the European draws. And that's all before we get down to the real nit and gritty of a Glasgow derby. There should be no distractions on Sunday. The first encounter of the season is always psychologically huge. And you get the feeling this one even more so than usual. There is pressure on both sides, of course. But when you consider the ramifications of victory or defeat, then you've got to think it's even more important for Rangers to come through us unscathed. We all know Celtic have the stronger squad, and over the distance it's difficult to see Rangers stop them in the league. But anything can happen on Derby Day, including a win for Clement's men. End of quote.
Well, there was no big end of quotes, so there's no really need for an end, is there really?
But you all know, see when I'm reading out Chris Sutton, it sounds coherent. You know what I mean? See when I speak, it's incoherent. And that's the difference between me and Chris Sutton, but you guys like it. No?
No.
That doesn't work?
Not really.
How does it not work?
No, let's just get on to what he's saying.
I've already read quite a lot of what but here he's saying Rangers can win them, Laura.
Of course they can, it's a one-off game.
Just won't win the league. And you've got to agree with that.
Yeah, it's a one-off game. And anyone can win them, Laura.
And I quote, I don't think it would change much of the overall picture in terms of the Premiership though, apart from giving Rangers a much needed morale boost. On the flip side, a heavy defeat could only add to the feeling of doom around the Ibrox club. A trouncing would make the pressure unbearable for the Rangers board and manager. Clement is already up against it. He's failed to beat Celtic in 5 attempts and there won't be much patience from supporters if he comes a cropper again. Regardless of whether his hands have been tied or not, I've never seen Gers fans so low, and if it goes belly up against the anger levels will soar. Given the carry on with Ibrox in the transfer window, I'm not reading too much into the 6-0 Ross County win. As much as it was needed, there's desperation around Rangers right now. That makes them dangerous. They have been written off and told they have no chance on Sunday. It might just motivate them to prove some people wrong. The bad news is for them, Rodgers and Cal McGregor won't allow Celtic to fall into the trap of believing it will be a stroll. We've seen the pair of them in this situation before where Rangers are huge underdogs and they've certainly shown no mercy. Celtic will need to be wary of the likes of Tierney, who's a lovely eye for a pass. Dessers, who's made a solid start to the season, is winning over some detractors. The pair of them have shown promising signs in their link-up play. And then there's Rabbi Matondo on the left. He's a nightmare to play against, as I don't think he knows what he's going to do next. Rangers will be direct and look to hurt Celtic at set plays. A lot will be down to how they contain Rodgers' side, though. Connor Barron has shown promise, but Clement needs more from Mohamed Diamonde. So far, the Derby games have passed him by. O'Reilly will be a massive miss for Celtic, and Paulo Bernardo is the kind of player who needs a run of games to get up to speed. End of quote. I agree. See Cyril Dessers, great start to the season. Couldn't have asked for a better start. He's almost made the striker links with Shankland and co disappear.
Yeah, he has. Cyril Dessers done a really good job. He's scoring goals right now. Shankland's not scoring goals, so therefore anybody really wanting Shankland coming in, that those kind of cries are quieting down because Dessers is doing the job. So you do feel like Dessers can score the goals, and maybe you haven't really felt that before in previous Old Firm games. So I think Rangers are going in slightly more confident than in the past, because at the moment I think Dessers is probably playing at his best right now. And you look at last season, he did have a pretty good goal scoring tally, but he started this season better than he started last season, and if he can continue that on, then yeah, Rangers certainly could come out with a win. Why not?
No, yeah, why not indeed, but Sutton, you've got to agree with him. With the players that you mentioned from Rangers, Tierney, Dessers, Barron, I'd say they probably have been the three strongest alongside Yefty. Didn't really mention him. What Rangers need though, I don't think Tavernier can start the game. Butland, he needs to cut out his mistakes, and I think Rangers just need to have two centre backs that are fit, man. It's going to be seriously risky if Proper or Balogun aren't ready for tomorrow. But I'm sure there's Celtic fans that want to hear Chris Sutton's opinion on the Champions League draw. So let's see what he said. RB Leipzig are a strong side, but that's the one you'd pick from pot 1 to play at Parkhead. Likewise, they thought the likes of Arsenal and Atletico to land Club Brugge and Young Boys in the third section is better than PSV or Sporting Lisbon. They could have got sides like Monaco or Bologna in the bottom group rather than Slovan Bratislava. It will be tough at Dortmund and at Atlanta, but Dynamo Zagreb is a close call. And the Battle of Britain against Aston Villa is one everyone can look forward to. In comparison to some of the sections, Celts have got off lightly, as they'll avoid outfits like Madrid, City, PSG and Bayern Munich, who can cause major problems, but the others can too. There are no easy games in the Champions League, as Celtic's record recently has proved. We thought last year's group was fairly gentle and it didn't go to plan. For all Rodgers claimed his side was close, I felt they underperformed, and that is something the manager and his players will need to put right this time. It's a huge opportunity for them to make an impact. With 24 out of 36 progressing, there's no reason why Celtic shouldn't be targeting a place in the knockout stages. Some would say I sounded depressed and monotone there, but you know what? When your team's in the Europa League Thursday night dinner table compared to the Tuesday and Wednesday night, that's my reasoning. What's your reasoning? You're also at the Thursday night table.
Another wee dig at Rangers there, I see. Well, the Thursday night table, it's not as good as the Wednesday and Tuesday night table. However, I did hear there's going to be Europa League games played throughout the week. So maybe
apparently it's just the first match day.
Alright,
they're giving us a taste and then they're like, fuck off.
This is what you could have had if you won the league.
This is what you could have had if you won the league.
And they shite against Kiev.
That's pretty much it. Yeah, people get a dig at Rangers. Rangers put themselves... Well, the referee shafted them against Kiev, right? But
they did, actually. That pissed me off, that call.
It did. No, but the transfer should have been in for Rangers, right? For to be able to deal with Kiev. Proper wasn't in till late. And then these two deadline day signings, maybe if you had those two and embedded in, they could have done better. But right, what Sutton's essentially saying here is that Cal McGregor and Rodgers will focus on the Old Firm. The actions speak louder than words. But Celtic's real beef this season is with the Champions League, and he's saying they've got an easy draw. And obviously today the fixtures were announced. Celtic kick off against Slovan Bratislava. Then they've got a few away days that are tough against Leipzig and at Atlanta. Then at home against Club Brugge. So what Celtic need to do in the first 4 games is win against Bratislava and beat Club Brugge. If Celtic walk away with 6 out of 12, they'll take that.
Well, Club Brugge is on the 5th game, I believe.
Who's the 4th game?
It's they play. Is it not?
I'm pretty sure it's Club Brugge on the way to Zagreb in the 5th.
Nah, they play the top 3 teams from 2nd to 4th match day.
So it must be.
It's like Leipzig, Atlanta, and then.
Either way,
Dortmund.
right? Regardless of they need to beat Slovan Bratislava. That was a must-win game anyway.
Here's a question for you. Answer this from a Celtic perspective. So Celtic's first game is against Bratislava, and their 5th game is against Dynamo Zagreb.
6th game, well, there it is there. So Bratislava at home, Dortmund away, at Atlanta away, Leipzig at home, Bruges at home, Zagreb away, Young Boys at home. And
did I not say Club Brugge?
Yeah, you did say Club Brugge.
Well, that's what I meant, Bratislava and Club Brugge. I don't know why you're saying 6th game then, because I'm talking about Club Brugge and Bratislava.
I thought you said Zagreb anyway.
Well, that's not the point I was making. Is from a Celtic perspective, if you were offered a win in your first Champions League game against Bratislava, and then you were offered a win in the 5th game against Club Brugge, now who knows what the results in the middle would be against Dortmund, Atlanta, Leipzig, but you're guaranteed to beat Bratislava and Club Brugge. That puts you on a minimum of 6 points, sorry. We still Zagreb and Young Boys to play, but you had to lose. the Old Firm derby tomorrow. Would you take that?
Nah, I don't think they would take that.
No?
Because I think... Well, why I wouldn't take it from a Celtic...
But would you not argue that if you don't get 6 points for those 2 games, it's over in the Champions League?
I'd argue that, but regardless, man, Celtic have just got to beat Bratislava. If Celtic don't pick up 3 points against Bratislava, the pressure to do something in the next 3 games is massive. And here, I think Celtic are probably looking at a predicament where they don't want to go down to Aston Villa and need a result. That should be what it was when they drew them. A glamour tie. If they're at Villa Park needing a win or a draw, I just don't see them doing it. I mean, you could argue, well, definitely will add to the occasion, but if you beat Bratislava, beat Club Brugge, get a draw at Zagreb, and then beat Young Boys at home, that puts you on 10 points. It's very doable to get through.
Agreed.
But the problem is, no one knows with this format how many points will be enough. Because say the bottom 6 teams, right, in the 36 league, get scudded in 8 games, 8 in a row they lose.
I don't think, that'll boost up the other teams.
That means the teams that are like 29th to 25th will get boosted up, and that could affect Celtic. But realistically...
I think that's a bit unlikely, though. I think you'll be lucky if there's 1 or 2 teams that get no points. I expect almost every team will pick up a point. You may get 1 team that gets none, but I think the likelihood is everybody picks up at least something.
And I think a crucial thing for Celtic as well, I think they've actually got the easier games at home. They've got Bratislava, Club Brugge and Young Boys and Leipzig at home. You'd rather that. Because that means they're easier to win than if they were away. And Dortmund at Atlanta and Aston Villa, they're 3 games you would expect probably to lose home or away, which I think is crucial. But Sutton, is he right? Is it time for Celtic to conquer Europe, so to speak? We'll be back very soon. We're waiting on these Europa League fixtures to be announced because, again, it will be crucial the order of Hearts and Rangers' games to see whether or not they can actually go through. And the same with the other teams, like we're talking about Shamrock Rovers got a good chance, but if TNS and Larne fall in the final 2 match days, it could be it.
Could be.
And for Rangers, if Tottenham and United fall at the start, they could be, it's 0 points after 6. It's how the cookie crumbles at the end of the day. But until next time, peace.